Hello, everybody. This is the Chocolate News Podcast. I'm your co host, John Alexander Reese.
And I'm your co host, Andrea Carter.
And if you didn't know, the Cincinnati Herald has been around since 1955 and is the leading African American owned newspaper in the greater Cincinnati area and northern Kentucky area. And today we have a special guest with us. It is Coach Dee Davis of the Princeton Vikings High School Girls Basketball team. How's it going, Coach?
It's going well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Now, before we head into our main topic, I just want to ask my co-host Andrea, what's going on?
It's going fine. The weather is warming up. It's spring. It's wonderful. It's unfortunate, though, locally and nationally, we are experiencing random shootings, which is unfortunate. I mean, it's sad that it's happening, but we have been bombarded with locally with several shootings of young people that have happened around the city. And then nationally, we have been listening to stories of young people who have done nothing wrong, but made an innocent mistake, and each because of that mistake has gotten shot.
Yeah, it's
One
crazy.
was, it's crazy. Two of the young ladies were cheerleaders in separate states. One was a young man just picking up his siblings from, being out and about, and he accidentally went to the wrong house. They were a block down, but he went to the wrong house, and an 82-year-old man named Andrew Lester shot Ralph Yarl, which is, he did nothing wrong other than ring the doorbell, and he ended up being shot twice,
Mm,
which is dramatic. I should say not so much dramatic, traumatic to happen to anybody. And he's lucky he survived this shooting. And his parents have hired Ben Crump, by the
oh,
way.
yeah.
Yes. I was like, oh, that's wrong. Also, the Alabama shooting where two teens have been charged at that birthday party where the prominent football player who saved his sister's life was killed. And it was a small Texas town. And the mother stopped the party, asked whoever had a gun, please leave. No one left. The party resumed. Next thing you know, shots rang out over, I believe it was like 20 people altogether were injured before people were killed,
Mm,
um, which is horrible.
oh, yeah.
And then another two young women, one who was coming back from, I guess, a conference. Um, they stopped off at a store, and accidentally she got into the wrong car. When she realized that she apologized, got out, the man in the car got out and shot her. Another cheerleader in a different state was going to a party with friends. Two cars and a motorcycle were traveling. They pulled off into a dirt road, which is a dirt driveway, and they missed where the house was. They went to another gentleman's house, and they realized they're in the wrong place. They were turning around to leave, and the man is known for being cantankerous. He was known for not being socially right, and two shots rang out and struck one young woman and killed her. So, mistaken identities in all of these stories, except for the Alabama shooting. With the last three, all mistaken identities, or I should say mistakes, made innocently made by people. They were correcting it, leaving. They're going to leave. Nothing was going to occur. They did nothing wrong. And three people reacted, picking up a gun, not asking any questions, and shooting. And I think at some point, I think we're going to see more protests of people protesting gun violence. I think the demand for to do something is going to move up. More people are just firing and asking questions later. It's almost like the Wild Wild West. Shoot first, ask questions later. It's kind of sad
It's
that
very
we're talking
sad.
about this. It's for someone who understands why we have guns, someone who's been shown how to shoot a gun during a training session, but I don't like guns, but I understand why they're a sport, why they're a necessary evil. But this is getting out of hand. this is just ridiculous. We've just lost control of everything. And, unfortunately, those who shoot guns for sport are responsible gun owners. And responsible gun owners are asking for stronger rules to correct, to limit certain things. They're asking for this, but politicians and NRA, certain politicians, I should say, and then the NRA are all fighting against gun control. And what does it take for change? What does it take? I guess that's the biggest question is what does it take when everyone who committed an innocent mistake gets killed? And I think that that's the question of what will it take for change in this country with gun control and gun violence. I mean, here in Cincinnati, we have had three, what did I say, 3 or 4 shootings involving young people
Yeah.
over the last 3 days. What does it take? When is enough for people to rise up and say, stop, don't do this anymore? That's my
I
soapbox for tonight on that. We could probably talk about this for days.
Yeah, I know I could. I just don't think it's ever going to change. If it is, it's not going to be for a while. That's unfortunately that's my view. I mean,
You know what we
If
should,
Sandy Hook didn't do anything, I don't think anything is.
maybe what we should do is, didn't we do this last year where we had a forum on to talk about gun control?
Yeah, I believe so.
We probably need to do an update.
Oh
Where do we
yeah,
stand today, especially with the new Ohio law in place now?
yeah.
Conceal and carry. How does that affect what we do now? We'll have to talk about that.
Oh
Stay
yeah,
tuned, listeners. Stay tuned.
yeah.
Um, I would say the one piece of good news that occurred this week is um, the settlement of the Dominion lawsuit against Fox News.
Finally,
Um, I think it's kind of sad. I wanted the trial. I wanted to hear, what the thinking was. Why did it happen? But I think when the judge ruled that the facts in the case are not disputed, and I think when Dominion said they had over 7,000 exhibits to uphold their defamation claim, that I think Fox News was like, okay, let's cut our losses, let's just deal. And this is not money paid over time. This is money they're going to get a check for $787 million.
it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. And the law firm that's handling this said, oh, we're not done. They still got more to do. So it's going to be interesting to see what else happens in this defamation case, because you can't lie, because eventually it's going to catch up with you and it's going to hurt you.
Yeah,
And even though Fox News did not admit, they barely admitted any wrongdoing in their statement regarding the settlement. They acknowledged that they were wrong in the information, but they barely said they were wrong. I mean, it was not even, they didn't even say the words, we were wrong. They didn't say that. Lawyers speak asked they were wrong.
yeah.
So
Well, you know what I found funny was because I actually I gathered up the courage to go on Fox News. I can't tolerate any more than maybe 5 minutes of it. But anyway, I was just curious to see if they said anything on their primetime spot, and I think they did say something. They said it was still like a developing story or something like that, and I was just like, oh, so they acknowledged it a little bit. I just found that was funny, and how it was a developing story. It's not a developing story. It's like story's done.
it,
I
I
just
think
thought that
what's
was kind of
sad,
funny.
I think what is sad when someone builds their business model giving people what they want to hear and not present the facts and the truth, you do a disservice to those individuals, because when they hear the truth, they won't believe it because who they trust is not giving them the truth.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
And this is not going to make them continue to tell the truth. I mean, it doesn't curb everyone who lied and admitted it in emails and stuff that they knew it was not true, have not apologized. They have not said blah 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 blah. But then again, I think they're being sued individually as well. So I
Yeah.
think I'm not too sure. Um,
It
or
also just shows like how much money the Fox Corporation has if they can just pay out that much money. Just it's crazy. Like, oh my goodness. It's
well, I
like,
mean, the Fox Corporation, it is a very big conglomerate because they own international news organizations
right.
in Europe, in Australia. They own the Wall Street Journal.
Oh, I
They
forgot
own
about that.
Yes, they own the Wall Street Journal. They are the Fox of the film industry.
Well,
They
they did sell off their film industry for like a pretty penny. I think they sold to Disney for like 7 billion too. So they got all that money, and then I assume
they
they still have stock from Disney too, or maybe
yes,
or something like that.
yeah, they are that I mean they have money, but also they are but I would say they don't have a lot of the parent company has money, but at the same time, this is just the first of one of many lawsuits that they're going to have to settle because now they've set a precedent that they did something wrong.
Right.
And the same lawyers who, they're also representing the other voting system corporation in this suit. So they're going to have to go through this again for Fox. So it's not done. And I mean, it's kind of sad, but
Yeah.
I would have liked to hear the why. Why did you think it was important to lie to your listeners when the basis of news is you present the truth, you present the facts, you be objective, you try not, unless of course you let folks know it's your opinion. It's kind of sad, but
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
all the chocolate news that I have today.
All right. Well, thank you, Andrew, so much. So now let's head into our main topic, and we have a special guest. It's I want to reintroduce her. It's Dee Davis, the head coach of the Princeton Vikings Girls High School Basketball team. How's it going, Dee?
It's going well, man. We're still kind of on a cloud right now of excitement and still getting recognition for winning the state. It's just been a fun time.
Yeah, and once again, congratulations for winning state. That is a huge accomplishment.
Thank you so much.
It's fantastic, and also like you said, and also so you were born and raised in Cincinnati, am I correct?
No, sir. I was
Oh
actually born
no.
and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana. I moved to Cincinnati, Ohio when I was in seventh grade. So I went to
Oh,
middle and
okay.
high school at Princeton.
Got
Yeah,
you. I just love how it's like full circle, how you went to Princeton and how you and now you're coaching. I just find that so fascinating.
for sure. I really, when it all happened, of course, you don't see the vision and it is a full circle, a moment, and it's been very rewarding. Been the community and Princeton has just really embraced me with open arms, and it's just been a fun experience to come back, like you said, to where it all began for me, and it's been a great opportunity to give back to where it all started.
Now you played basketball at Vanderbilt, right?
That's correct.
Can you tell us like your experience at playing basketball at Vanderbilt? Because I know it's a highly prestigious like university and everything. So what was that like?
Absolutely. Vanderbilt was an amazing experience for me. I mean, it was challenging academically. I always consider it to be the Harvard of the South. It's in the Southeastern Conference, so you play schools like Tennessee, Georgia, LSU, Kentucky on a nightly basis. So it's a very competitive conference, and it was a very special feeling that I got when I stepped on campus, and I just knew that that was home for me. So when I got there, I was fortunate enough to walk into a position where I was able to earn the starting spot as a freshman. So I played all 4 years in that conference and was fortunate enough to move on to the WNBA where I was drafted. And it was a great experience. I mean, it was probably one of the most challenging experiences I've had in my life, but it was also one of the most rewarding because college athletics is tough, but it's a great place to find who you are and grow and learn and just blossom into the person that you are.
Yeah, most definitely. So tell us a little bit your time in pro. You said you're drafted by the Houston Comets?
Yes, I was drafted in 2007, number 14th pick to the Houston Comets. So players that I idolized when I was young, like Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, all of those ladies became my teammates. And
Wow.
that
Okay.
was my teammates wore Cheryl Swoops basketball shoes in high school. So to become her teammate, it was a really surreal experience. And it was awesome, to walk across that stage and your lifelong goals and dreams of making it to that point to come to fruition is just it's a moment that you really can't put into words. But I felt honored daily to come in and grind and work hard and compete. It's the best of the best in the world, competing at that level, and it was a great experience. I was able to participate with 3 different teams. I didn't get the luxury of lasting a full season at either destination, but the experience nonetheless was phenomenal. I was also able to play overseas, and experience that, going to travel to several different countries to play professionally. So basketball has awarded me so many wonderful things in my life, and I just want to pay it forward. So it's been amazing.
What is your model? What motivates you to do your best on the court?
On the court, just remembering your why. That was something that was huge for me. My inspiration was my mother when I was a player. I watched how hard she worked to provide for myself and my brother, and I knew that I didn't want her to be responsible for my education at the next level. So I worked extremely hard on and off the floor to ensure that I had those opportunities. But basketball, it's very difficult to get those opportunities to play at the collegiate level, and even harder to go on to the professional level. So I embrace those opportunities, and just remembering your why and understanding there's so many people that don't get those opportunities, so you have to embrace it. So that kind of kept me motivated and added to my drive.
What was it? I would say, because I mean, the Princeton story is so wonderful. The fact that you won. What was the driving force for you to help motivate the young ladies on the court to go for the win and do what they do?
Not letting up. It's a long season, and it can get very challenging as you guys go through a lot of bumps along the road. But we had to weather the storm. We had to be positive as much as possible, try to keep the girls together as much as possible. The days that they don't want to be there, they're tired, finding that inner push to be able to get through it, and win the day. I think that our culture that we've created in these last 2 years have really challenged these young ladies and stretched them out of their comfort zones, but they were willing and they bought in. I think the vision was set early on, and we had to consistently remind ourselves of what that is and have those come to Jesus conversations and moments where, all right, let's get back on the same page. So it wasn't perfect. It wasn't the prettiest path, but we were able to get there. And, for them to see where we began and to where we finished, it was an amazing journey. And, I haven't told very many people about the first day that we could practice. We had a 5:30 a.m. practice because a college coach wanted to come and watch. And I had the girls released from classes early that day, and we took a ride to Dayton. I took the girls. They had no idea where they were going. And we got off that bus. We stood in front of that arena. We were led down to the locker room, and we had that conversation. Said, if this is serious and this is what you guys want to do, it starts right now. We walked onto that basketball court. They were able to look around the arena. They were able to look at each other. A couple of girls fell on the floor and said, this is what I'm going to do when we win. And we got on that bus and we rode back. It was one of the quietest rides, riding back to that school. And we had a second practice that day. And it was one of the best practices we have ever had. And to go and get that opportunity to sit in that same locker room and play on that court and win that state championship, and those girls lie on that ground and do what they said they were going to do. It was one of the feelings that is so nostalgia. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like I probably need to start a documentary on this journey from this year, but those kids bought in and they competed. They trusted us as a staff, and they actually wanted it. So it was a journey for sure.
I could tell it was a good journey though, because the smiles in the picture where
Yes.
you all are gathered around the trophy. It's just like wattage, a huge wattage of smiles. There's like, okay, that fight was worth doing, and they
Yes.
succeeded because that's something they can carry with them on how to win and what does that mean to win. Because there are so many people who don't like hard work and will walk away, and they
Absolutely.
didn't walk away.
And I said that to them. I said there were so many days where I was surprised that some of y'all even showed up, but you kept coming. You kept coming because we weren't letting off the gas. We were going hard every day. We were challenging them every day. We were demanding every single day. And it wasn't easy, but they had to look to the left and look to the right and realize that they were doing it right along with them. So they had to buy in, they had to work for each other if that's in fact what they wanted to accomplish. And towards the end, it was very warm to see that, like you said, those smiles and to see them enjoying it because we wanted them to have fun and embrace the journey. We went through a lot of mud, but we got to where we wanted to get to, and I think it makes them better people because of that. They know that they can persevere through adversity. They know that they can work hard for something and accomplish it. So I think it was huge for our program. It was huge for our seniors leaving to be able to leave with a legacy.
How hard is it for students today to buy into a goal? Because I mean, you see so many kids give up so quickly.
Right.
Um, I mean, what was the driving force that got them to stick with it? Even though I mean they were all doing it together, but I mean, did they have an inspiration song? Did they have a motto? I mean, what was the glue, that little sticking point that kept them together to move forward?
I would be curious to know what each one of their answers would be. But
Okay.
from my take of it, when we started, we laid that foundation and we gave everybody an opportunity. We had like I don't know what you call it, but like a gallery walk where we had poster boards on the walls and we had different prompts and questions, and and they needed to open in the sentence by putting post-it notes all around the room. And we walked around and we discussed them and we talked about commonalities and differences and things of that nature and common goals. And I believe throughout the course of the season, we had to keep reminding everybody of those things that they said that they wanted and what they were willing to do to accomplish that. So that consistent reminder, and it was just really awesome to see them growing up throughout the course of the season as well. Everybody can't play every second of every game, so you have to deal with that dynamic on the bench. You have to deal with this player might have scored more points than me, so that selfish component. But I think all in all, they all wanted to win. And we lost 2 games this season to the same team. And that after that second loss, I knew that something was about to shift, and we didn't lose any more games after that. We won 17 games in a row.
Wow.
It was a heartbreaking shot at the buzzer to make us lose, and the kids were devastated. But we also talked about it's not about being undefeated winning the season. We want to win the championship when it counts, and the team that beat us this season, we were able to face them in the tournament, and we were able to beat them. The team that beat us last season to knock us out of the tournament, we were able to beat them, and I just feel like they had so much grit this season. They really trusted each other on the floor. And that's
Okay.
all I can really say. I don't know what each of them was holding on to, but I think that the end goal is a vision that they all kept in their head.
Okay. Okay. Because I always like to know what motivates people to success. What is that driving force? And even you as a coach, I mean, how do you feel as a coach? Getting these girls to a point of where they see the success. For you, what was your driving motivating force? Because you went from player to professional to coach.
Right.
And for you, I know that's a journey in itself as a
Absolutely.
woman. For you, what was your driving force?
It didn't change from being a player to a professional to a coach. I've always been competitive. I've always wanted to be elite in whatever I did, how I carried myself on and off the floor, who I am, and who I was as a person. Those are things that were very important to me. So how you do anything is how you do everything. And I think as I sit in this seat, I'm a daily representation of what that should look like. And I'm very cognizant of that. I want to represent this program, and I want to represent my family, myself, and these kids in the best way. So every day I'm coming in as a professional trying to impact these kids' lives, not just on the floor. There's been so many instances where I'm a social worker, I'm a counselor, I'm a listening ear. I'm so much more than just a coach to these kids, and I really value the relationships that we've built. And then it's very important for me to surround myself and our kids with staff that embrace all of those attributes. Where I fall short, they lift me up, and that they add value. So I feel like as an individual, I have goals as well. I want to accomplish great things. I wanted to come back to Princeton and do something special and leave a legacy. Not, I did well as a player at Princeton. I wanted to come back as the coach to do well for the program. And, Coach Phillips was my high school coach. He was my high school coach my senior year. She definitely laid the foundation with the program. She's the last coach to win a state championship. And every day, every game, she's to my right, doing the stats. So to see her and to see her excitement and watching me develop and grow in my coaching, I grew up, I was a seventh grader when I lived in Cincinnati all the way through 12th grade. So I had all of my coaches from my high school career and some of my college and pro coaches to be a part of this whole journey with me this year. And it was so special. So to be able to make all of them proud, that meant a lot to me, and that kept me going.
It is a fascinating story. And I hope that you do a documentary, a year in the life of the basketball program. I think it'll be interesting for people to see what that looks like, what motivates the students, especially for women, because we don't get enough of the about hearing about the female players.
Right.
All we hear about the men this, men that, and stuff like that. So I would be interested in that. So, but congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And I know next season will be awesome as well.
You know what's been very special? Non-basketball fans or non-Princeton basketball fans or former Princeton alumni, all these people have turned into Princeton girls basketball fans. We've had so many people shower us with love. And I had a phone call with a gentleman today that said he hadn't seen a Princeton basketball game all season, and he came to the championship game and he was just ecstatic. I had grown men telling me that they had tears in their eyes from seeing young Black women excelling on the basketball floor, and just seeing so many positive messages being shared to our kids and to our staff. It's just been tremendous. It's been awesome. I think our girls have that itch. They want to feel this feeling again. So we just have to get back in the lab and work and grind and do the best we can to continue to build legacy. Like, our young kids are watching and they're eager to get up to us and they want to be a part of this. So it was fun. Our crowd has increased tremendously. The support has been phenomenal. Just every bit of this has been a shift in Princeton girls basketball in the city. So I'm very grateful. I'm very prideful in that. And, I want to continue to make this thing be what it should be.
Okay. John?
Well, that's it for today. Coach Davis, thank you for coming on. And just before I wrap it up, I just want to say I am so glad that women's sports is getting the attention it deserves, because for so long it was in the shadows of men's sports. And I think we can just look at the past WNCA, WC. Why can I say
The
that?
NCAA tournament.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. I
Oh,
was a little
yes.
tongue-tied.
Yes.
But yeah, just watching the Final Four was more exciting than watching the men's Final Four. And I'm just glad it's getting the respect that it deserves, because it obviously deserves just as much as respect as the men's basketball.
I totally agree with you. I think exposure, having that light on these athletes has been tremendous to the game, because once anybody sees a game of girls basketball or women's basketball, they immediately become fans. And I'm so proud of the direction that the program and women's basketball in general are going, because it's amazing. And we just need more people to buy into that and support that.
Definitely. Well, once again, thank you, Coach Davis, for coming on. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you all so much. I greatly appreciate being here tonight.
Yep. And thank you, Andrea, for delivering all the chocolate news. Also greatly appreciated.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime.
And you can find out more information about today's topics and past podcast episodes at www.thecincinnatiherald.com, the Sesh newsletter, or on our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app. Our podcast is on Apple, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Amazon, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. In addition, the Cincinnati Herald is now looking for news distribution and delivery agents, so please contact our publisher Walter White at 513-680-7076 for more information. I'm John Alexander Reese.
And I'm Andria Carter.
And have a good day.